All right, hello, metal maniacs. It's the Meista from Brews and Tunes. Cheers, or I should say, Kippis. Right? Is that the correct term? Kippis.
That's
Uh,
correct. Kippis,
uh,
yes, right.
all right. Well, I'm very, very excited today. I am chatting with the one and only guitar player, multi-instrumental actually, but from, of course, the band Imperia, the great thrash metal band Prestige from Finland, and then, of course, Satyrian. I'm chatting with the one and only Jan Örkki Yrlund. Don't know if I pronounced any of that correctly, but Jan, how you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. It's been a really busy couple of weeks, so I'm finally having a day off. So
Nice.
it's good time to chat.
Good, good. Yeah, yeah. You are a busy, busy guy. I mean, you're in three active bands, and then you do a lot of guest work. And then, of course, you also are a graphic artist and a very proficient and prolific graphic artist at that. You do a lot of album covers and, of course, other business. But yeah, you are a busy guy. And of course, Imperia, great symphonic metal band. You guys have a brand new album coming out this month in just a couple weeks. Or a few weeks, I guess, rather, on the 26th, I believe, of July. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, The Dark Paradise is the new album. And I was lucky enough to get an advance copy from a PR person, and I have to tell you, it's fantastic. I love it. It's excellent.
oh,
Really cool stuff.
well, yeah. Thank you. Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I'm
Absolutely,
really digging it. And you guys have two singles out already from the
yeah,
album.
we do.
The first
Yes,
two tracks, actually, I believe. Yeah, I think yeah, Better Place came out a little while ago, and then
yeah,
Reach My Tears came out this week. Was really, the video and the single was released this week.
right, right.
Both excellent tracks, really cool stuff. And one thing I really love about this album that I wanted to chat with you about is it's really diverse I mean, you know, there's the blanket statement that it's symphonic metal, but there's a lot going on. Like there's a lot of influence and different. I mean, you could say like Better Place is almost just like a rock song. It's like a hard rock song. It's just a really, I mean, there's, of course, the vocals are very symphonic, but I mean, I think just that kind of presentation is just like straightforward rock and roll. Like,
It
yeah,
is.
yeah, very cool stuff.
That was also the point making it like that. Because like nothing beats to play rock and roll live, let's say. So for the live situations, we always like to have a couple of songs which are really straightforward, nothing too fancy about it. It has to have a guitar solo, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, we've done it in the last three albums, I guess. We always have a couple of really like rock songs.
yeah.
This time we kind of disguised it a little bit with some electronics and synthetic sounds. But still, it's a one beat going probably always 120 or 128 beats per minute. That's the kind of secret beat which seems to work.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And that's why Better Place was also the first single, because it's pretty catchy, if I may say so, and kind of an introduction, let's say.
Yeah, yeah, it's a really strong, yeah, really upbeat, powerful song. Yeah, I really dig that song a lot. That was, yeah, and great opening track. Yeah, just like the perfect opening track. And yeah,
Yeah,
I really love your guitar solo in that song. It's just your
cool.
tone. It's great. Yeah, kind of reminds me a little bit of like maybe somebody like Doug Aldrich or somebody. Yeah, just straightforward rock and roll, but just a really
Yes.
nice tone. Yeah, really cool stuff.
Yeah, I always try to keep that, because you have so many, like these really fast finger guys nowadays, and in every band, and I was doing arpeggios and stuff, and I kind of miss the real rock solos, even a little bit bluesy rock solos.
Yeah.
That's a totally cool thing to have, and you don't have that so much in symphonic metal. It's at least to my ears, it seems to be always the same kind of. Like you have like parts with grunts on it. Some guy is grunting, then the girl is singing, and then you have a really fast arpeggio full solo stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't know. I miss the straightforwardness in some of the music. So we try to do that. Of course, we are also a little bit progressive in our roots, so we can't help it but making some epic songs as well.
Hmm.
But rock songs are the coolest to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, and that's yeah, like I was saying, like the album, just all the tracks on there. There's a lot of diversity, I think, in the sound, and you bring in lots of cool elements. I mean, of course, the new track, the new single that was released, "Reach My
Yeah,
Tears."
Reach My Tears. Yeah.
Yeah, that I mean, that has a very folk metal, at least
Yeah.
especially in the opening. It's very
True.
Scandinavian folk metal sound to it, which
Yes.
I love that too. That's really cool. And then it and kind of more of a straightforward symphonic and folk metal song. But like yeah, everything, the whole album, like it's really diverse and really interesting. I agree with you. I think one of my frustrations with a lot of symphonic metal bands, I love the style, but there's a lot where it just everything sounds the same. And yeah, like you
Yeah.
said, it's this very formulaic, where yeah, you have the female vocals and then yeah, the crazy, arpeggio solo and
Yeah.
yeah, and it's where that's why I love what you guys are doing because it's so different and yeah, and just very diverse. Like every song is its own, it stands
Yeah.
on its own feet.
And that's also a challenge sometimes because we do use a lot of different kind of styles in the music, but still to keep it sounding like Imperia. That's a really the challenging part of it. And I think, of course, the vocals is the common factor, of course, because the vocals are the same. But also the orchestrations we try to keep in the way that every song kind of fits together, even though the musical style might be really a little bit different from song to song.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was going to ask you. I was curious. Um, so you do the orchestration, right? In the
Yeah,
programming.
let's say in the demo phase when we write songs. Well, when I write songs, basically I also play the keys.
Okay.
But that's in a demo versions, and then I send them to our producer Oliver, and well, actually co-producer. We do it together, and he's a brilliant keyboard player. He's really like over there, and I'm somewhere here, So I let him to do all the pianos again because he's
Okay.
just so marvelous. That's his main instrument, piano, and sometimes he helps also me out with some classical guitar because he has a really nice tone in his playing. So when I do the classical guitar, I probably would do all the steel string guitars, also the acoustic guitars, but he would do the nylon string, really classical guitar stuff.
Okay.
And then he helps me out with orchestrations as well. So he has the ideas, he has all the lines, and then he just makes them better. And sometimes he adds also a lot of cool stuff there. Most of the time he does without asking, and that's brilliant.
Nice. Very cool.
We've been working together since I think 1997. So it's
wow.
a long time.
A long time. Wow. Yeah.
Long
So
time.
way back since the like the
I
Satyrian
think
days, right?
Yeah, it is actually pre-Satyrian already. He was already on that one, but we had a band called Danse Macabre before Satyrian, and he was already there in 1997.
Oh, okay.
So so been with him, I don't know, 30, not 30 yet, but 25 years at least, something like that.
Yeah. That's the thing that's crazy. It's insane. It's amazing to think that. I mean, Imperia is 21 years old now. I can't believe it's been that long. I mean, it's great. I mean, 7 full-length albums, studio album. Yeah, 21 years later. But that's a great thing. Dark Paradise sounds as fresh and as powerful as the early stuff. I mean, and that's the thing I always liked about Imperia is you guys you don't change your style so much, but you explore and you experiment and you bring in new things all the time. And and then with the vocals, I mean I think everybody in the band is great, obviously, but I really love the way Helena's vocals play off of your guitar work. I think that's a really cool sound, and her vocal range is incredible. It's insane.
I know.
On this album, there's some wild stuff on this album. Like she does some really cool stuff, like really wild stuff, and it's breathtaking. It's really interesting.
It is, and when I got to learn her like 21 years ago, I was really impressed about her singing. Back in the day, she did even more like all this opera stuff, and really high pitch opera stuff. And through the years, she then kind of was trying out different styles, and it's just amazing that she can do basically a little bit everything.
Yeah.
Yes, it's like depending about the mood or her lyrics, or I never tell her anything how to do anything, nothing. Even though I have the music, and sometimes, of course, we had some albums. I think Tears of Silence or something that we produced ourselves with our engineer. Christian Moos in Germany, but we did all the vocals together. And there I tried to kind of give her some ideas somewhere here and there, try this, try that. And she would say, yeah, sure, I'll try that. And then she would do something completely different and 10 times better than I ever had in my mind. So, it just doesn't work. You can't tell her what to do. She just picks it up herself.
Right.
She does also all the choirs and stuff, like all the multi voices and stuff like that, where I'm lost like after a couple of voices already. She's brilliant with that stuff.
Yeah, her range is incredible. It's really amazing. How did you guys meet? How did you join the band? How did it all
it was 2003, I guess, when I quit my previous band, the black metal band actually. And then I was not actively searching for a band, but Gary, our bass player, had heard about it, and he actually phoned me up and asked me if I would be interested in this band called Imperia, which was just starting up. Actually, they had recorded the first single, I believe, and were busy recording music, but they hadn't played anything or something like that. I guess it was. And no, they had recorded the first album. Yeah, true, but they didn't have a band together anymore. So then I traveled to Groningen in the Netherlands, and met her at her place, and we listened to some music, and she played her previous band's Trail of Tears, and I played some of my previous gothic metal music I used to do, and somehow we kind of clicked, and I joined the band right away. And then we had like a bunch of gigs and the album release, and and been together ever since. Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. Yeah, you play a lot of different styles of music. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the black metal, and because I mean, you play Prestige, of course, your other band, which you've been in since the '80s. Thrash metal band, like straightforward killer thrash metal band. And you guys had some new material, or newer material. I guess it's been a few years ago. I think was the
21 it was
Reveal the Ravage. Great album, killer album.
Cool. Thanks.
Do you guys have anything in the works? Are you guys doing it? Oh, cool.
Yeah. We have bunch of demos actually. I guess I have like 3-4 songs, and other guys have probably the same. But to be honest, we have been touring quite a lot the last 2 years, more than actually ever. So we haven't had actually a chance to really to make our band camp yet, but we've been kind of exchanging ideas and demos, but I'm pretty sure that once we're done with all the shows for this autumn, which is a lot, then we start with the next record, because we can't do the 30-year touring, so we have to do something else.
Nice.
So next year there will be probably a Prestige album, I'm sure.
Oh, great. Excellent. Yeah, you are a busy guy. Is Imperia gonna tour? Do you guys have tour dates or shows?
We have some couple of tour dates now planned, but I think what I'm probably gonna do is to finish all the Prestige gigs for this autumn. I think the last one is the end of November, and then when we start writing the Prestige album, then we're gonna tour with Imperia, because it's sometimes really hard to combine the two things. We get offers for the same dates, or impossible shows like play Friday in Belgium and then with Prestige in Finland next day, or just like flying around, and it's just pretty hard sometimes to fix things.
Yeah.
And with the Imperia for the reason as well that we live in different countries. So I live here in Finland, and drummer lives in Amsterdam, and bass player in Belgium, and Helena traveling between Germany and Norway. So it's completely impossible to make it rehearsals, of course, you know. So we only rehearse if we have a show, and then we get together probably in Amsterdam, and then we rehearse.
Okay.
And with Prestige, it's completely different because we all live in the same city, and we have a rehearsal room here, and we can go every evening if we want to, you know,
Nice.
to jam. But with Imperia, we can't. So we have to have everything really planned, the dates, you know, also financially that there are enough shows to cover the costs and stuff like that. And, you know.
Yeah, because travel's gotten ridiculously expensive.
It is. Yeah. And it goes for all the bands nowadays, and especially if you have to travel with the nightliners and stuff like that, it's really expensive.
Yeah.
So we only do shows that pay off, of course, you know, because there's no other choice. With the Prestige, it's easier because we're just 4 guys. We can go with the car and, you know, with the trailer or something, and you know, we don't care that much. Yeah. But with Imperia, it's different. Everybody has to fly in, and you know, it's complicated.
Nice. Now, are you still doing stuff with Satyrian as well? Are you guys still doing things?
We actually have songs. Well, I do have songs. Okay. Problem always is that some of those songs end up to be on an Imperia album.
Oh, okay.
And, you know, that happened with a couple of songs on this album as well, which I already had planned for Satyrian rather. But they were cool, and there was the opportunity to record them now, so we did record them now for Imperia. But I do have almost an album full of stuff. Our label is very interested in releasing it, and there are a lot of fans out there, so I definitely want to do it.
Nice.
If we ever gonna play shows, I don't know, but at least the album we will make for sure.
Okay, yeah, because you did a single a few years ago. You guys released a single a few years ago, but yeah, it had. Yeah. You haven't done an album it's been a while. It's like,
well, it was 2006, so it's a long time. It's a really long time.
Yeah.
And even that album, some of those songs were older. I think from the beginning of the 2000s something.
Oh, okay.
So, and people have changed as well. So, you know, not everybody is around anymore.
Yeah.
So it's going to be different anyways. But the core is there, like me, our bass player, Milos, and drummer Meraino, who's actually playing in our drums with Imperia as well. Yeah. He's drumming for Satyrian as well. That's why I picked him for Imperia from Satyrian. And the singers, Kemi and Judith, they are there. So we have to kind of figure it out. How do we do it, and who's on board, you know?
Right.
But after I've finished the promotion with Imperia, maybe the Prestige album, then I'm going to do the Satyrian as well.
Okay.
Because, with that one, we don't have any pressure because it's a studio thing right now, anyways. So you can do in between. We all have our own studios we can record in, which is nowadays so easy.
Yeah. It's interesting to see how the music industry's changed. With, I mean, you know, the idea that all of you in Imperia live in different countries, you know, like that wouldn't have worked in the 80s. You know, in the 90s, it probably wouldn't have worked then either. But now with studios, it's, you know, and
it is, and you can do so much on your own as well. You know, like basically, I do record all my guitars in my home studio, and then I just send the the empty DI tracks to Jakob Hansen in Denmark to mix it, and he reamps everything in his studio. And so I don't need a big recording gear here. I don't need microphones to record the guitar, you know. The same is with the bass as well. And only thing you really need it for is for the drums. If you want to do like 100% acoustic drums, then you need a space and of course the good gear and good mics and stuff like that.
Right.
But for the guitars, bass, even vocals you can do home in a vocal booth if you have a pretty decent microphone, you know.
Right. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I would imagine, like, I don't know if you miss it at all, but yeah, those old days, you know, in the old days, in the late 80s and early 90s, where, I mean, you all had to be there.
Yeah.
And sit and probably falling asleep, and, you know, as the drummer's taking 12 takes or whatever.
Absolutely. And even not that old days, let's say our album Queen of Light, which came out in 2006. well, it is a long time ago. But anyways, that we recorded in an old-fashioned way at the studio. We even wrote most of the songs at the studio.
Oh, really?
So we spent like two months in the studio together, the whole band with Imperia. That was a lot of fun, but it's also like, you know, it's not always as effective, you know, because you're busy with other things and together, and, you know, maybe have some beers and stuff like that. And then you try to write music, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
And because we never rehearsed the songs before we hit the studio, that takes also time for the drummer to get in the mood. So suddenly you notice it's a week later and you don't have one single drum track. You know. You know, also the Tears of Silence we recorded together in the studio in Germany. But the last two albums we've done it from a distance. Yeah, we done it like this. No, that's not true. Flames of Desire, we also, we recorded drums together because our drummer back then flew over here to Finland and we recorded together. But like a whole band together, that's been a while.
Okay, interesting. I also wanted to ask you, I would be remiss if I missed this. You played on the very first Delain album. I guess you weren't technically a member of the band, but I guess a session. But you played most of the guitar work, which, you know, great. How did you get involved with Delain?
Yeah, well, the first album wasn't the band album to start with. It was, I guess, it came from my other label back then, Hammer Heart Records. Guido had heard about Martin looking for musicians and guitar player, so he kind of gave my phone number, and Martin phoned me up. We hooked together, and at that point there was no band, there was no not even songs yet. It was really like a concept. Only he had an idea in his mind to put up a kind of an all-star kind of a compilation kind of a thing.
Oh, okay.
But he didn't have the songs yet, so basically what he was looking for was kind of partners in crime who would help him to realize his ideas and his dreams. And I was there, and I helped him go writing a couple of things, and I wrote some guitar riffs for him so that he could continue with his demos. And at a certain point, then he was ready with the demos, and then we were looking for musicians who would play it in. And of course he's a huge Nightwish fan, so he wanted to have Marko Hietala playing there and singing there. So we traveled together to Helsinki to record the bass. Marko plays all the bass on the album. And then there was a drummer, was Arjen van Wezenbeek, actually the guy who plays drums on the first Imperia album, actually, and is nowadays with Epica. You know, it's kind of the Dutch female fronted metal scene is kind of everybody knows everybody. So let's say, So Arjen is playing on the first Delain album, and Guus from Orphanage was there. He was also helping with the songwriting, playing guitars, and Art from Epica was there playing guitars, solos, most of it. So we had like different guys doing different stuff.
Nice.
And then guests like vocalists, we had a bunch of them, like Sharon from Within Temptation, Liv Christine, you know. And we didn't have a own vocalist at the time for the first album, so we were still searching. Or Martin was, I just gave comments, so he was searching for a vocalist. And that's how I think maybe it was somebody's hint or something about Charlotte then. So he got just demos in from different vocalists, like girls doing some Delain stuff, and then we were listening to them at the studio already. We had most of the songs recorded already, but there was not enough vocals yet. You know? So we were listening to demos, this girl, and you know, think about who would fit. And in the end, it became Charlotte then. So the first album was released like that. So he didn't have any deal for it, no record deal, anything. He just financed everything by himself. And then he had it mixed and everything. And then he started label shopping. And I have this album. You want to release it? In the end, Napalm gave the best offer, I guess. So then they signed with Napalm, and at that point there was then, of course, requests to play live, and we already had a deal that this is the studio project, and he wanted to have like totally fresh new guys for the live band.
Okay.
So I never played live with them. It's only the studio stuff.
Nice. Yeah. Well, but you helped really establish the sound of that band.
Yeah, there were some really cool songs there. Absolutely.
Yeah, very cool stuff.
And Martin is still a very, very good friend. We meet all the time. So
nice.
Yeah. So yeah, and I'm really happy for him that he became really like successful with Delain, because it was kind of a weird start for it, but then after a couple albums, they really got recognition, and just got bigger and bigger. So it's totally cool.
Yeah, it's cool that it kind of started as an experiment in a way, or just a kind of a project, and become this kind of monolithic.
Yeah.
Band.
Well, I think the style itself, of course, Martin played, of course, years and years with Temptation, so I think that's his roots.
Yeah.
And that's the style he wanted to do, but his own version of it, and really maybe a little bit harder in some ways. So it's a cool style, absolutely, and yeah. By the way, the studio we recorded the first album, the Lucidity, it's the same where we recorded all the Imperia albums.
Oh,
so
nice.
That's also like a kind of a closed circuit that everybody knows everybody.
Okay. Is that in Amsterdam?
No, it's in Germany, actually, a very small place, just over the border. The studio doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately. They had to close it down a couple of years ago. But it was a nice place. I recorded many albums there.
Oh yeah, that's cool. That's too bad it's gone. That's too bad.
Yeah, that happens nowadays with a lot of studios. There's so much competition, and it's not anymore like it used to be 15 years ago. Because all the home recordings and stuff like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and it was a huge space, so the rent was just too much.
Yeah,
you would have to have all the time bands recording there, and it's hard.
Yeah, that makes sense. So Jan, if you don't mind, take me way back. How did you get started in music? Did you come from a musical family? Like, how did this all start for you? When did you start playing guitar? Like, what was the impetus for you for music?
That's a good one. No, not the family, not per se was not musical or anything like that. But I remember that I had an acoustic guitar already in a very, very young age, like 10 years old or something.
Oh, okay.
Like getting very serious, or at least playing with friends together. That must have been at school, maybe when I was like 12, something like that.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah, and I played also with my little brother. He used to play as well, so we played together. But let's say we had instruments at home. I had drums already when I was 12.
Okay.
We did have guitars, but let's say at school we the first real band that we actually recorded something or had a show together was a school band from my school, and our music teacher was really into pushing interested guys to play, and the music classroom actually had all the gear. There was the drums kit there, and there was amplifiers and even guitars, so it was a really easy step to start trying things out. So the first band we played was called The Restless, and I was 13 years old, and the best friend of mine back in the day, Nico, who later formed the band called Dethrone. He was there singing, and we rehearsed the whole semester or something to be ready by Christmas party. And because in the Christmas time there was a concert in the schools, how do you call it? like a venue. So we played there. That was the first gig, and after that, we played more, and then some other guys heard that I played guitar, so I joined another band, and then we recorded some demos. And let's say in '87, then I went already to the senior high school, or how do you call it? And there I met Ari, who the other player of Prestige, was actually in the next class from me. Okay. So he heard about me, and he said, we have this band, we haven't really recorded anything, but we've been playing together, and you want to join in. And then I joined the guys, and then we took the name Prestige. That was in late '87.
Wow, that's really cool. That's really cool. Do you remember a point where you're like, I want to do this for a living? Like, was there something that just clicked, or was there some event that made you decide, like, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life?
Well, let's say with the Prestige, it was really, really kind of funny because everything happened really quickly. You know, like we only recorded one demo and had one or two gigs, and we got signed. So it was not really like a hard work. It was more like surprise, and like, whoa, we got signed right away. So within a year we had the first album out, and of course then you're just like 17, 18 years old, and you think, wow, this was easy. And then I had a lot of gigs and shows, and you're just a teenager still. You think you know everything when you're 18, but you don't.
Right.
So so you're just fooling around. So you don't think of that so seriously. It was more like having fun and playing trash, and that's it. And but a couple of years later, because we were together at that period, like 5 years, and then of course he made another album, more gigs and more gigs. At certain points, you start to think, well, we played quite a lot all around, and but of course, getting into really like a profession in that genre is almost impossible, of course. But at the best years, it was all right. And when I moved to Amsterdam and joined bigger bands like Lacrimosa, for example, then they started also the pay started to come. And then there were a couple of years that I could, in the '90s, that I could actually live from music, just playing the guitar.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's great.
I think more, maybe even like 97, 98 or something like that. Then you still had a good venues who paid, and also with Imperia in the beginning, to be honest. Yeah, there were a couple of years where the main income was just playing music.
Nice. Oh,
yeah,
cool.
But being like all the time, totally, that's impossible. Then the only handful of people, of musicians, who can really do that.
Yeah. It's and it seems like now, like I think young musicians, it's got to be tough now because there's, it's easier to record, but there's so much competition out. I mean, there's like, I don't even know how you get your name out there.
That's the thing, especially with all this, like the online presence and everything like that. Because the old days, you probably had as many bands as well, but because it was harder to promote, and it was harder to get the deal. Nowadays, it seems like everything is just full of bands everywhere. Because it's all these streaming platforms, and it's so easy that you can record it yourself, you can release it on your own. You don't need to label if you don't really get a record deal. Doesn't matter. Then you just release it on your own for Spotify or something like that. But it's harder to. It's easier to get your name out there, but it's harder to get any shows and anything like that, because it's just so much, And to be honest, the venues don't pay also that good, maybe sometimes, as they used to be. But I don't know. It's difficult question, actually.
yeah. So it's kind of in that same era, that same time, like who were, and maybe they're still the same, who were kind of your big influences, especially as a guitar player? Like who really influenced you as your guitar work?
Yeah, in the early days, it was all these, thrash guys, like Metallica, Slayer, I listened to all that stuff. But we actually never played any cover songs like from any thrash bands. It was more like pop songs or something. So I think with that, we kind of wanted to create our own style and our style of playing.
Yeah.
But of course, they're great guitar players. I still like, from the heavy metal world, most of them probably like, Randy and and stuff like that, or even Kavachov, quite right. It was really cool, and there are a lot of totally amazing guitar players.
Yeah.
But I never learned, or the Iron Maiden guys, of course, there's so many cool guitar players, but I never actually tried to learn any songs of theirs or their solos or anything like that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I don't think I ever actually did even. I don't know, in a grunge days, you know, because there's just luckily a very short period of grunge music, and when I moved over to Amsterdam, and I didn't have a band for a year because I just moved over there and I played in a lot of cover bands, and I had friends, and I was looking for a band. Well, we did have a hard rock band actually, but we only did one song and one show or something. But he started looking for musicians by playing covers, and I remember the covers. Let's say in '94, they were, of course, either they were Alice in Chains or they were like Lenny Kravitz or something like that. So you had to learn a couple of cover songs, you know, in order to, you know, kind of make auditions for other players. So I learned a couple of songs just to play them, to show other people how to play them. But I never had any cover show or anything like that. No, it's not my thing. You know, I always wanted to write my own stuff.
Nice. Oh, that's cool. Speaking of your own stuff and kind of change of gears, I wanted to ask you about both you know, Darkgrove, your design company, and also and which also is part of it is, I guess, is your album cover work that you've done, and you've done a lot. I think most metal, like if they don't realize that they own your album, like most metal, if you're a metal fan, there's most likely you own at least one album cover that Jan has done. I mean, the list is gigantic, and there's so many amazing covers. Of course, you've done Imperia and the new album. Well, I think all the album covers, right? You did every Imperia album cover, correct?
Yeah, no, the first one I didn't because that was already in the works. But then the rest is, yes.
Yeah, and all very cool stuff. And you know, and of course you've done Satyrian and Prestige album covers, your old band Ancient Rites, like when you were, you know, you've done their covers. I mean, the list, Delain, Dark Sarah. I mean, the list is gigantic. I mean, you've done a lot of, you know, tire tier, however you, I never know how to pronounce the you know, the Danish or Faroe Island
Tier,
tier. Yeah, you've done a bunch of their album covers, or most of their album covers, I think. Crystal Eyes. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, Iberian Dawn. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Like I was looking at the list of stuff you've done, and it's like, okay, I own that, I own that, I own that, I own that, I own that. Like, and just really cool stuff. How long have you been doing that? Like, how did you get into the graphic design side of it?
Well, I used to draw comics already in high school. You know, that's a background, and I went to the, you know, art-oriented high school, so I was in the art class, and basically I wanted to actually go to our art academy after my graduation, but it never came to that because then we moved to Amsterdam. But I went to study art history at the university, so I was interested in art always. Drew all the time. Remember, I did already in the early '90s. I did some EPs for other bands, just hand-drawn stuff. Most of that like comic style.
Okay.
Because that I really liked to do. But like getting really like professional, I guess it was somewhere around 2001 maybe. Because then I did the first album covers really like professionally for other bands, and I think I have a lot of napalm bands in the beginning, like Tira and Korpiklani, and you know. And then the name just spread around, and I was doing like freelancer for a couple of years. And 2007 I started my company, but already then I was already doing it like full time. It was just more complicated to do it on as a freelancer, so that's why I put up with the company. But yeah, that's what I do. That's all I do. You know, it's music and art. And, I don't have any other job. That's what I do. Yeah,
that's the dream, right? I mean, that's the best. You're living the dream. Yeah, music and art. That's fantastic. I love it. Yeah, and it's, yeah. Again, I was thinking of all these album covers I have, and yeah, like Razor and. Yeah, so many albums. So one thing I've been curious about with album covers, and maybe it changes depending on the album and the band. So do bands come to you with a concept, or do you Like, do they have you listen to the music? Like, how do you come up with some of your ideas for album covers? Like, does the band tell you like we want this, or is it more like here, check out our album, and you come up with something?
Well, it depends about the band so much, So some bands have really detailed concept already.
Hmm.
Perhaps even sketches like that they drawn themselves. We want these characters there and stuff like that. And some bands want to have a long story of pages of long story about the concept of what they want to have, and that's a challenge to put it in one picture sometimes.
Yeah.
But then there are also a lot of bands who don't have the energy at that point anymore because they have recorded the album, they are finished with everything, and then they notice that, oh shit, we have to have a cover for the album. So then they just tell me, make something nice. And that's a hard one as well, because taste and taste is too,
Yeah.
technically I can do this and that, but so what I usually then do, if they don't have any idea, then I just ask for the songs or the lyrics, prefer to, or both, and I listen to the songs. I read the lyrics. I pick up something that I would think would fit, or come up with some idea, like okay, what do you guys think? Something like this. Let's say 99%, it always works. There are only a few occasions that bands are really like, nah, no, that's not it. But then we change it, and I always work until everybody's happy, so I don't mind that. But yeah, let's see. Some bands are really easygoing as well. Bands I've been working for a long time, like Clown, for example.
Yeah, you've done a lot of their covers.
I think all of them except the first one, I guess, also something like that. But for example, that band is really easy. Just that you understand the concept, you understand, and you just make something, and usually they just go and say, "Yeah, that's cool." That's it.
Nice.
And then there are bands who are more demanding, and they who have their own idea, because I can't read people's mind. I try my best, but sometimes if they ask, like, just make something nice, yeah, that's so. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Normally it does. Somehow I don't know why, but somehow I can read between the lines what they are after.
Yeah.
If they have a previous albums, I check out the style, or sometimes also it's easy when you listen to the music and you are realizing what kind of style they are playing and what they probably are after. And they wouldn't come to me anyways if they would be interested in really abstract art or stuff like that. They would already pick me because they know what I've done. So that makes it also a little bit easier.
Yeah, and it probably helps too that you're a musician as well, so you have a
maybe it does
concept.
Maybe it does.
Yeah. I was thinking that maybe because you also are a musician, you kind of you can read between the lines and
true. And in that way, I'm not like an artist, like a graphical artist that some like really painters are, for example, because they paint for their pleasure, and hopefully they hope to sell the painting later.
Yeah,
I don't do anything like that. I basically don't paint for fun. I never do. Every cover is ordered, and I'm more like. I don't know how to even call it, but everything is on commission. I don't have hundreds of ready-made album covers to sell. No, I don't have one. I don't. If I have one, it's probably being rejected by a band, and there's a reason why it's rejected. So I'm not going to sell it to anybody. Throw it away. So everything I do is actually on commission. The guys want to have something from me, and then they also know that it's never been used anywhere. It's not gonna be. It's only for them. It's one of the kind, one of the unique for that man. And I think that counts too. Because of course there are a lot of artists, and especially nowadays with the AI can generate images you can get for free. Or for very little money,
Yeah.
So,
the AI thing.
Yeah. I can't compete with that, but I can
Yeah.
compete with being unique for that band.
Yeah, very unique and very cool imagery, and you do great
Important.
work.
It's really important. Sometimes people really underestimate that, to my opinion, because
I agree.
once you have your beautiful album ready, mixed, everything, you're happy with it, it should have a proper cover. It should have a really nice booklet to go with it,
Yeah.
And even though the physicals don't sell that much anymore, even though vinyls do, so you still need the images. You need it for all the online presence, everything, even for the streaming platforms. So it is very important, even though you would say don't touch the book by its cover, but that's kind of a bull, because you're looking at the cover first, and if the cover is cool, then you listen to the music before you even heard the music.
I bought so many bands, so much music over the years because of a cool cover, especially when I was young. I'd see a cover and go like, what's that? I got to check that out. Do you have any favorite covers you've done? I don't want to put you on the spot or anything, but
they're all special to me, so I wouldn't do that. But of course, like some of the bands I've been working very long with are really in my heart. And bands like just the Corporate Glani or Battle of the Beast, or and of course Manowar, because I had the honor to do some single covers for Manowar as well.
So that's right.
That's really cool. So
very
stuff like that is awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. Are you working on anything right now? I don't know if you're at liberty to talk about it, but
I am working all the time, but I can't tell too much about things now.
Cool. That's cool. Well, Jan, this has been an absolute pleasure chatting with you today. Thank you so very much. For those of you watching, Imperia's new album, Dark Paradise, killer album, comes out on July 26th through Massacre Records. Go pre-order it right now. You will not be sorry. It kicks ass. And then hopefully we'll see a new Prestige album in the coming year. And both Prestige and Imperia are going to be on the road in the next several months. So if you're, especially if you're in Europe, go check these guys out. Hopefully, are you playing festivals? Are you guys playing any festivals? Anything like that?
We actually did just played a couple of festivals here in
cool.
Finland, and for example, Tuska, which is the biggest one here, and in August we play in Portugal on a festival with Prestige, and cool. Probably we play in Belgium on a smaller festival with Imperia also in September. And we have with Prestige, we have our own festival in August called Speed Metal Party. So that's gonna be cool. That's like I don't do much of the I'm not a gig promoter as such, but I organize one festival a year. That's enough for me. And the Speed Metal Party, so that's always the highlight of the year for me personally.
Nice.
Booking some bands from abroad this time, and it's I don't want to get to the organizing too much, but one big nice festival a year is cool.
Oh, that's very cool. And that's in Finland, right?
That's in Finland, in Tampere. Yes.
Okay. Nice. Very cool. Very cool. Well, that's great. Well, again, like all of you watching, go check out the new Imperia album. There'll be links in the description below. So check out Jan's bands. And if you're in a band and you need an album cover, go to Darkgrove Designs and you will get, talk to Jan. You'll get the best album cover ever. So Jan, thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Thank you.